we are realizing in Sint Maarten that we have to make a mindset switch now, and we have to go for Sint Maarten to stay resilient and sustainable. We will have to make a switch from stakeholdership to co-ownership if we want to keep this island going. When I started in office, I came to this gentleman here and I told him we're going to do it in another way, because I realized that this road that we call the Burger King Road, the Pelican Road, the Billy Folly Road, I realized that this is one of the main arteries that feeds the economy of Sint Maarten. So we started a conversation. I got an invitation. We went there in the back and we sat there and we discussed, and we came to the conclusion that the mind switch must be now a private-public engagement. That is what we did actually. And that is actually the switch from stakeholdership to co-ownership. So we decided, through efforts from the co-owners from Sint Maarten, let us start mobilizing the owners of the properties that are stake co-owners from the road and see if they can contribute to make this happen. Then of course we run to the big man that has to say yes from VROMI, and we got an enormous cooperation for us to execute it. I even remember, I found it even very risky to do, that this nice gentleman next to me asked me, what is your contribution as government? And I didn't have no green light from the Council of Ministers. And I said, oh God, tomorrow I have to go to my colleague Minister of VROMI to tell him what I said. And I compromised at that moment for 20% contribution for the project without having no green light from the Council of Ministers. But thank God, Mr. Partnersh Gums understands what this road means for the further evolution and development of Sint Maarten. So he jumped on the project immediately, and he makes it his own. And today we're standing here actually to celebrate that together on this island we can achieve great things with each other. We always brag Sint Maarten is the place to be. The moment you have your contribution, you become co-owner, you become more responsible for what you owe. And I think that is the way moving forward. There's one more that we're just discussing just now, is I think, and I said it too, I dare to say it again, but perhaps it will not happen, but we are still pushing. Minister Partnersh Gums also, is the Mullet Bay Road. I think that is a great asset if we can improve the infrastructure. I see the Secretary General of VROMI already smiling, so it gives me hope for the cooperation. And thirdly, guys, there is a lot happening in Sint Maarten. As a country, we love to destroy, complain, criticize, and by sunset, when we have a drink in our hands, we all say to each other, Sint Maarten is a great place. So what we have to do is now make the second mindset change from stakeholdership to co-ownership, and we have to become positive people, very proud to be part of this community. I want to really, out of my heart, thank all the contributors that today we have a fantastic road. There is one sore point, and we realize it. That is how I am too. There is still some water pooling by atrium. I discussed that, and the minister discussed it with me. It's not that we did this and we're going to run away. Minister Partnersh Gums is very aware that there is a little technical issue there, and it has his full attention for us to solve that little small problem. That is, of course, especially for the atrium area, a hazard, and we realize that. So I'm very, very proud, believe me, that we could do this together, and everybody is eating from this road, and everybody is also contributing. And the effect is, if We do something for the common good, as we call it. Recently, I was part of a conference in Aruba with the title Common Good. This is something we call as a project Common Good for St. Maarten. We will never give up on our St. Maarten because this is, believe me, the place to be. And if there is some time over after the minister spoke, I will explain you why St. Maarten fascinates Canadians, Americans, that since telling us in the restaurants, we're great, we're coming here since the 80s, I'm looking at them and say, these guys come out of beautiful areas of Florida, wherever they come from. They come in this confusion that we criticize every day, and every year again they're repeaters too, you know, and they are deeply in love with our country. And I will tell you after Minister Patrice Guns finishes why it is that St. Maarten will always stay a great place for humankind. Once more, inhabitants, business sector, everybody, this is the way for us to move forward to St. Maarten. The government of St. Maarten has challenges for its budget to keep the country going. While there is a lot of money circulating in St. Maarten, we are of course looking at all ways to increase the revenue for us to be able to actually stick to our obligations. But with some more years, we will get there with this beautiful St. Maarten. And we will not forget that you are co-owners of this project. Thank you very, very much.
I think what's very important in echoing sort of the discussions around the way in which government is going forward, private-public partnerships. The reality is we have quite a lot on our plate as government, but this idea of co-ownership, this idea of doing it together is really a very strong paramount point of our governing program. Over the last year and a half, we've actually been focusing and pushing out a lot of partnerships. This was one of the first ones, so we want to say thank you to all the contributors who really put themselves forward for this. It's really about setting the example for everybody else to follow. Following that, we had also from the Goya Group an investment into the Harbour and Sint community, and it keeps on going from there. So I just want to say, you know, when we got the opportunity to have this discussion, it wasn't a question necessarily about yes or no, it was just how much. And I think the results of it and how the simple things like this simple speed bump and how it has come out has really elevated not only the product, but also the quality experience for not only the hotels, the restaurants, and the residents as well. On the issue of the water, I'm very happy to say we are indeed not walking away. We do have an intervention planned. We already have new people coming on board to sponsor that intervention. So we're looking forward to getting that solved very much and hopefully before the next season. But also I think what's very important is that much what PM says, we also see in the Council of Ministers, is something very special about St. Maarten. And I think I know what it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about how we manage chaos. People come to St. Maarten for a little bit of everything. St. Maarten, this little neighborhood alone, offers everything: casinos, hotels, restaurants, nightclubs, all in something the size of a small district. It's about how we as government come together to manage it efficiently, and we can't do it alone. And I think that idea of co-ownership, that it's not always going to be enough, it's not always going to be the best, but how do we manage what we have and how do we invest and maintain it? One critical point we're working on within the Ministry of VROMI, in particular with the Council of Ministers, is this idea of maintaining. I think for a very long time we have taken for granted our product. I think from every single level, from policy level, from a finance level, I think what you're seeing now is really an investment and not necessarily something new, but enhancing what we have and we own. So I really want to thank all of you for coming together and really supporting government to support you. And also for everybody else who's interested, reach out. I think this is an idea, this is an opportunity where there's a bridging of a gap between community needs and social needs in the government, and we're very much open to partnerships. So for me, you guys were the trailblazers. Thank you, Prime Minister, as well, for initiating this conversation and also bringing it to the Council of Ministers. And its idea about really recognizing that government should not work in silos. It's about recognizing individual strengths as ministers and bring them together to come to break a beautiful project together with the community.
Very good.
So with that, thank you all very much. This is just step one to a much better much more invested in St. Maarten and the community. So together, thank you all very much, and I look forward to continuing this relationship.